Okay, welcome everyone to the Pro Trade Room Plus. We're here for Canada Core CPI and the Empire State Manufacturing Report. My name is Lee Goldstein, the Trading Director at 10 Minute Trades. Please remember, I'm not a financial advisor. All the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. Okay, let's get started, everyone. So we are here early, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, February 18th. Okay, we are streaming on YouTube, so I want to say hello to everybody that's out there on YouTube. And we will be mostly looking at Canada Core CPI. Empire State is one of those reports that doesn't often trade by itself, trades a lot with retail sales, other reports, and when it trades by itself, there really isn't a setup because it's just not a report that we trade generally on its own. It's usually with something else, but I like to look at it on the outside possibility it's going to move. But going forward, we probably won't spend the time on these minimal setups, to be honest. We want to trade the best of the best because that's what gives us the opportunity to make the better profit. I don't really recommend trading Empire State. It's one of those reports you can watch. Certainly, it could move gold. It could move the NQ somewhat. It's one of those interesting Fed reports. You know, you've got Empire State, you've got Richmond Manufacturing. It's in a collection, Philly Fed. And I would say that years ago, the most impactful of those reports used to be Philly Fed. Philly Fed used to trade by itself at 10 a.m. and then they changed it, and now it's just a report that trades with other news. It became much less impactful. People still watch it, but it generally doesn't trade by itself. So it's interesting how over the years a lot of these events change. And of course, we add lots of events, and some events get taken away. It's just the nature of this style of trading. You don't always know why an event loses its impact or why an event that had no impact all of a sudden is getting more impact. Sometimes it's because of inflation. Sometimes it's because the market is paying more attention to a report that it never paid attention to before. So it is an interesting challenge always to try and figure out if a report is worth trading. And it's not that hard to figure that out. You know, we had a webinar on the Ninja Trader playback. And playback is an important tool that if you're not sure if an event should be traded, all you have to do is go to the various calendars and find the previous dates of that report and just test them with the playback machine that's part of Ninja Trader. There's a whole connection that you can make playback, and it does exactly what it sounds like. It replays the previous markets. All right, so the most recent Empire State, just to give you an idea what I'm talking about, was December when it traded by itself. In January, it traded with U.S. retail news. When Empire State trades with U.S. retail news, it's not Empire State that we're trading. We're trading retail news because it's much more impactful. If you don't know, the Empire State is New York. Okay. Probably there are people that don't know that to be true. Now, here's what's interesting. We have a video in a video within a video. This is July of 2024. In our video within the video, you could see 15 seconds after the news is released, and there's no response from gold. Bonds, not going to really be responsive on this report, in my opinion. So, July, no trade. this particular video, remember I said is December. In December, we used a bracket of 8. You want to use a bracket of 8 to 10 this time of the morning on a gold report. If you go too small, you might get filled just on a random move that has nothing to do with the news report. If you can get away with 8 this time of day on a report that's rather small moving, like Empire State, then that's something you want to do. The smaller the bracket on a small moving report, the better. We used a 10 stop, which is pretty small for this time of day. It's a hard, when a report doesn't move a lot, it's hard to have a profitable outcome. Here's December. Don't forget, you've got the gold open at 8:20. That's why you had that nice little gold move before the news. These are things you want to be aware of. If you know the gold market opens at 8:20, then you're not surprised by a move in gold, right? Before the news. These are the things you need to know. They help you to keep safe trading events. So here's Empire State in December. It pops up a little bit, almost fills with gold. The news is out and it's rather negative compared to the forecast. That normally would push price up. Gold was a little bit bullish that morning, and it just did not have a very meaningful response. I was also looking at the MNQ. The MNQ pushed up a little bit, looked actually a little bit better than gold. It also, but look at, you had a big trend in the MNQ. You might have been trading the market trend, not so much the news, but it looks like in December the MNQ had the better move than gold. Was it a phenomenal move? No, because it was also part of the market trending up. And then let's look at one more. Then, interestingly enough, or let's look at September. September, it was by itself. And we had January within the video. That's going back. In January, it had a pretty strong move. That's a long time ago, though. And it had CPI, Canada CPI, very often trades with Empire State. So we'll talk about Canada CPI in a second. So here's September. Remember, the point that we're trying to make here is we want to trade good opportunities for profit. Would I trade this with my family's money? No. These are not trades I would trade with my family's money. And you could see it had a definitely not a good move on gold. And micro gold did not have a very big move either. That was back in September of 24. In July, it had no fill. Is anyone having audio problems, or is it just Roz? Roz, always just log in and out if you're having an audio problem and see if that doesn't get rid of it. Okay, so let's talk for a second about Canada CPI. Canada CPI, we have a daily trade report. I don't think we've ever had a trade report for Empire. We don't have a trade report for Empire State. Canada CPI. There's only one way I would consider trading Canada CPI these days. When Chantal and I did the testing, we really didn't, we're not impressed with any of the moves, but the last two were better than normal. I would only trade this with tiers of 20 and 30, and I almost expect not to get filled. I think it's very possible. We have 3 out of 6 that didn't fill. It's a 50-50. All right. So remember, on a trap trade, I'd rather not get filled than have it explode through my orders. On this particular report, I don't expect it to explode through orders. I expect, if anything, it'll move less than we expect. But I would only trade the trap trade. I would not trade a breakout on this report. Um, if it's a trap trade, that means there's a propensity for this particular trade to reverse. Canada traditionally is a low liquidity instrument. I don't really want to trade a lot of breakouts on an instrument that doesn't have the best liquidity. So, a trap trade where you're going the opposite direction of the market is a great kind of event for lower liquidity because you're getting filled in an opposite direction that the market is moving. So, we have a trap trade set up. If it doesn't fill, we don't really care. And if it does fill, then it should give us our reversal. So let's see what we're going to do here with our setup. You're going to double click trap trade, and then we're going to trigger. It's an 8:30 event. We're going to trigger at 8:29:55. Our stop is 20. Tier 1 is 20. Tier 2 is 30. I'll trade it in my prop account. I'll label it 6C trap. Okay, 6C trap. And then I'll hit apply. I've already saved the template, so I don't have to save it again. If you want to save a template, you would click template, click save, and then type the name of the template, Canada CPI, and date it today. Then I'm going to OK it. Make sure that my chart trader is on the same account that I'm trading it in my software. So what do I mean by that? When I look at the strategy has a setup area, and in that setup area is the account. And it shows which account I'm trading. You can choose between them. Okay? You can sim it. You can prop it. You could live it, depending of all the accounts that you have set up. You could have a lot of different accounts set up. Obviously, you're only going to trade one account at a time on a chart. And then make sure that your chart trader is on that account. It's matching. So I'm up a big $5 last night. We were in the room for the Australia rate statement. And I'm going to do something today that I should have done last night. So one more time before, let's just make sure a couple of things. Everybody, it's morning in the East Coast. Everyone should have gone to the website time.is to make sure that your computer is in sync, right? Everybody has made sure their computer is in sync by going to the website www. You can just go to time.is. It's one of those websites that doesn't need the www. When you go there, it checks your computer. If you're not in sync, we have files in our file folder in the trade room. And we say this all the time. There's 2 programs you can download, D4 Time and PT Sync, and they both put your computer in sync. You want to be in sync when you trade events, okay? So we've got our trap trade set up. Right click the chart, click on strategies, double click trap trade. It'll put it under configured. Now you can enter the items into the software. All we have to enter first is the activation time, 8:29:55. Stop is 20. Tier 1 is 20. Tier 2 is 30. Choose your account. Label the trade. 6C is a trap trade. Okay. And then you're going to apply it and okay. The reason my apply button is grayed out is because I didn't make any changes to the setup. I already applied it and okayed it. So nothing's being changed. So it's already there. If I had made a change, the apply button would allow me to press it. And that's what actually makes the change. And it makes the change in the control panel so that you're trading the right setup. Then you want to enable the trade. And you get your icon. And that tells us the software is enabled. Now, on Empire State, normally I would look at gold on that report. Like I said, I don't really have interest to trade that report live. It normally doesn't trade by itself. It's pretty rare. It does occasionally, but not a lot. Okay. But I would look at gold on it, GC0425. Look, maybe one day it'll start to really trade well all the time. So that's why I like to keep revisiting these reports, even some of them that aren't very good performance-wise. So how would I trade it? Right click, click on strategies. In the past, it's been a breakout. Double click JOB version 11. The trade type is a breakout. 829.59. Looking at the gold market, gold gold's been unbelievable for the past, it's maybe a year. It's been very volatile, up and down large amounts. Today it's up over $25. Gold it's so volatile. It's been moving so much. I would use a 10 bracket and my targets wouldn't be big because we don't often see huge moves on this report. So let's say 8 ticks on a target 1, 15 ticks on a target 2, 15 ticks on my stop. Should my first target get hit, the target 1 stop move, I would put it on break even -3, BE -3. And I still label the trade GC breakout, even though it's in sim. GC breakout, apply it. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to put the time at 0 and make sure that my brackets are manageable. Apply it and OK it. I'm on sim. I'm on sim on my charts. I'm on sim in the software. When you enable a 0 time trade, it gives you your bracket width. You want to just have brackets that are manageable in their width. And you noticed gold's it's moving a little bit. So I think the bracket of 10 is probably appropriate. When you have a report that doesn't have a history of moving a ton, if you make your bracket too big, you leave your profit in the bracket. Now, what's really going on here, I believe, is you're going to get a test of the high of day, maybe even before the news on gold. So watch that instrument because this is perfect magnet trading time for gold. putting my time back to 8:29:59, apply it and okay it, and just watch. Gold's gonna go to this area here. The green line is the high. It's gonna probably break through it. If I was alone in my office trading by myself, the only hesitation would be it already did the magnet right before we got here. So, looking back, there's the magnet. It's really very early in the morning. It just failed at 7, didn't get there, and then hit the magnet at 7:25. That was the perfect first magnet of the early morning. But look at gold because it's so bullish. The odds are extremely good. It may do it again. Not trading it this morning because we're doing something else. I would only sim these reports, Roz. I mean, these are not live reports to trade. So MGC, I'd use a significantly bigger stop. Again, why am I saying that? Because these are not reports that give us a high probability of profit. It's just that simple. You don't want to lose money trading micro gold any more than you'd want to lose money trading full size gold. Um, Empire State, we don't have a great history with the report. I knew I was interested in Canada CPI and Empire States at the same time. That's really the only reason I'm even looking at it. Okay. Going forward, I'm probably not even going to look at it. There's a perfect magnet. Little bit higher risk because we already had it so soon, so close to this time period. I would set up a reverse continuation on the 6C. Right click the chart, add a second strategy to the trap trade chart, a reverse continuation on the same account. Just one position. My target would be 15. And my stop would be 20. All right, so I'm just putting a trade on the chart just in case there should be a move after the news, or maybe we don't get filled and it's clear there's a trend. Reverse contain last night, Australia really had a good reversal that we missed because we didn't have everything set up. I didn't set up a reverse continuation last night. I didn't expect a big reversal last night, and that's the reason I didn't do it. But it was a bank report. Bank reports, you should always set up a second possible trade for after the news. So trade type, reverse continuation, just one position, 15 tick target, 20 tick stop. You don't really have to do anything else except choose your account. If I'm going to do it on the same chart, I'm going to do it in the same trading account. You don't want to be flopping around, changing accounts right in the middle of a trade, in the middle of news. And then you want to label it reverse or reverse continuation, whatever you're comfortable with, label it. Okay. And it's always good to use the instrument and then apply it and okay it. The account is the same as my previous. And then when you enable it, you get your buttons, instant long, instant short. So should there be a possible opportunity when the news comes out, maybe we'll have an opportunity to trade after the news. Okay. I'm just looking at our YouTube friends. If you want to hit that like button, everybody on YouTube, we would appreciate it. Let's look at a Canada CPI. Last month. So what is a trap trade for folks that are new? Trap trade is a trade that we expect will reverse. That's what a trap trade is. So we're expecting if the market goes up, we're going to sell. If the market goes down, we're going to buy. That's how we're going to trade it. So we're expecting the trap trade to fill us if it's a big enough move and then change direction. If it just explodes in one direction, then we would get stopped. If it doesn't move enough to fill us, then it would be a canceled trade. If you notice what happened in January, it was a perfect trap trade. It went up, immediately reversed, immediately you were in profit, and it only filled one order. So what you have to do if it fills one order, you have to cancel your outer tier. So when you trade a trap trade, you'll notice there's buttons at the top of the screen. You have a break even button, a close button. That's close the trade. Break even is move the stop to break even. You have an adjust button, which we don't currently use. That was something we used to do a long time ago on this report. And then you have a cancel. Cancel the outer tier. If, like in January, only one tier gets filled, tier is just a fancy word instead of bracket. We should have called them brackets. If only bracket 1 gets filled, bracket 2 is still on the chart in the way of your stop. And I'll show you what I mean if you want to move your stop to safety. So look, we got filled one order. Our second order is still there. It could still get filled if the price reversed all the way back up. Chances are our reversal is taking place and that's not going to happen. And we want to move our stop to safety. In other words, you want to move your stop into profit, but the tier, the order, is still on the chart and it's in the way. If you move your stop past a live order, it'll give you an error. You can't put the stop on the wrong side of a live order. So cancel the outer tier, you press that button, and that order goes away. Watch. I'm going to press that button. This order is going to disappear. There it goes. Now I can move my stop into a trailing mode, into safety. That's trap trade management, when a trap trade is working in your favor. And price is going down, so you can trail. It's up to you how close you're going to trail. If you trail too close, you might lose profit. But no matter what happens here, it would be almost an impossibility to lose money on this trade because we're in profit and we're trailing from an area of profit. That's a perfect trap trade when that happens. Then we had, let's look at December. We did not have a video, so I did a replay on December. Let's see what it looks like. So this is a replay or a playback. This is December. And you could see December on my playback, it just barely hit the target and reversed again. Same thing. I've got to press the cancel outer tier button, or I can't get my stop into a safe area. Okay? Now I was just testing, so I stopped the test because it looked like a nice trap trade. Okay? I will talk through the trade. Our breakout on Empire State is just for educational purposes. All right? I'm sure everyone is listening. We have 2 minutes to go. Now, what if you can't see your orders on a trap trade? It's usually because your chart's spread too wide, so shrink it. If they're all scrunched up, move it wider. Okay? I'll show you what I mean when the orders appear on the chart. So remember we activated our orders 829.55. We activated our orders to go on the chart. 829.55. So that's 5 seconds before the news comes out. That's when our orders will show up on the chart. So you have a few seconds to adjust the vertical spacing on the chart just by holding down the left mouse button. And then we have our breakout on Empire State. It's possible you could have an awesome move today. You never know. All right, 30 seconds. Now, with a trap trade, remember if it goes up, we're selling. If it goes down, we're buying. The market's bearish on the Canadian futures, dollar futures. Here come our orders. See, I couldn't see my stops, so I spread it a little bit differently. Now it popped up, it filled both tiers. I can bring my stop to safety. I don't want to get any closer than that. Now as it starts to reverse, I can trail. If it should hit me, I'm going to leave my orders where they are. Maybe I'll move this one order up. We got a very nice reversal. All right, so I'm going to trail as it goes down. I'm going to keep trailing as it goes down. I'm trying not to get too close. I might be a little bit too close. If you want to combine both your orders, there's a combine button. You can do that. Right now, it's kind of quiet. I could think to myself, well, maybe our reversal is finished and I could trail pretty tight so I don't give back much profit. And one more tick up and it'll take me out of the trade. Okay, so a profitable trap trade on Canada. We'll have to watch the video to see what actually happened in Empire State Manufacturing, which was, by the way, very negative, very positive. It was a very positive report, which should push gold to the downside, which it is trying to do right now. Did anyone trade the trap trade with me? I traded it in my prop account. It was an easy trap trade. That was easy. Okay, but it's really interesting how the price got very quiet. Now it's still, you could still be in this trade. You did not have to trail as tightly as I did. And interestingly, we'll look at the video and see how long it took Empire State to fill. You have an extreme result, very positive. They were expecting negative 1.9 on the news, and they got 5.7. Even with a tremendously bullish day in gold, it was able to push gold down. You're in one position, small profit of 8 ticks, and your stop was moved to safety so that if it does what it's doing now and changes direction, you would not have a losing trade. That's one reason why you might want to manage your stop to safety. You don't have to, okay? You don't have to, but in this particular case, Empire State did not follow through to the downside yet. It still could, but in our case, we decided let's put our stop to safety if it hits the first target, and it took us out where at least we covered our expenses plus a few dollars. So we don't lose money on Empire State. You want to turn off your breakout. And then on our trap trade, price is pretty quiet. Price is pretty quiet. We ended our trade, so I'm not going to cry in a corner if it goes lower. All right, it went up. It filled both our orders, and then it pulled right back down. So let's look at the video, and you can see exactly what happened on both trades. Now, the reason I was here was, as I said before, was for Canada's CPI. All right. If I trade something, I mean, I usually will say, if I think these are great reports to trade, my feeling was the danger in Canada was minor in that my thinking was the worst that would happen would not be a stop, but it would be a no fill because of the history of the last 6 to 8 months of the behavior of this report. It's the behavior that tells us how to trade. Okay? That's what we study. Behavior of the event over and over and over. There was no DM. No, there were two setups, and the main setup was the trap trade. I said in the beginning of the trade room that I would not trade this as a breakout trade. It is an alternative setup that can be used, but not one that I would have chosen to trade today. Okay? So, right, if you didn't hear it, that's fine. I explained why I wouldn't have chosen the breakout. Liquidity is not great with Canada, and the trap trade has a better trading history. That's really the issue. Which one trades better? And right now it's the trap trade. There'll be times when Canada will go back and it might become a breakout again. It's possible. Let's look at Empire State on the right first. I think it took a while to fill. So let's see what happened on that report. So this is Empire State. We're watching the time. Our brackets are going to show up right now. All right. The news is out. The market knows the news, and it's not really moving. So I'm watching. If I was trading just Empire State by itself and it was moving the way it was moving, and we had that bullish of a day, I would have canceled that trade, to be honest, right now. Probably at 30 seconds, I would have canceled. It looked like there was going to be no move. Then it started to move. Not right away either. You notice it's still not moving. 40 seconds. This would have been most probably a canceled trade. Okay? Just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Now, you could have looked at the news and you could have said to yourself, well, that's amazingly strong news to possibly push gold down. But then you would also look and see how bullish gold is. And I think it would have made sense to cancel that trade. It took more than a minute to fill. It would have been canceled. It's just that simple. You had no way of knowing that eventually it would have just pulled back and given you a one target, okay? A one target. That's what was available. And now going back to our trap trade, here's our Canada trap trade. Our orders go on right 5 seconds before. Notice I couldn't see everything, so I shortened the vertical spacing so I could see everything. Then the news comes out and there's a big explosion to the upside, decent explosion to the upside. Remember, 30 ticks was our upside tier, right? We were 20 and 30. So we had a 30, looks like a 32 tick move roughly, an immediate reversal, put us in profit immediately. Why not move your stop to safety so you can't lose on this trade no matter what happens? And then you can trail. That's what we did. And Canada CPI, honestly, seems to be coming to life a little bit. It's great to be able to make easy money on a trade. That was an easy trade, stress free. All right. And you could see prices going down a little. There was reason why you might have stayed in the trade. Um, Definitely because of the negativity of the instrument. We could have stayed in and could have picked up some more profit. You didn't have to trail as tightly as I did. Okay? You didn't. And then gold is really just going back to its trend. Gold is having a incredibly strong bullish day. Turning off my reversal continuation, you might get a test of the low and S2 there. S2 is not my favorite, whatchamacallit, indicator, pivot, my favorite pivot. All right, so if you traded CPI, you should have made some money. If you practiced it, like Roz said, you're learning how to trade the trap. Let me close out our YouTube stream and then we'll finish in the trade room. I want to thank everyone on YouTube. Thanks for watching us and hit the like button before you go. And we will be streaming one more time this week. So